Hello strangers and friends, my name is Grace and this is Sometimes I Make Things, a podcast primarily about knitting but making of all sorts. This is episode 9, a much delayed episode. This is my first time coming back since early June when I went to the Kawartha Yarn and Fiber Festival, which was my last video, and lots of catching up to do in the last 2 months. So I did try several times to film this vlog. It just didn't quite work out. There was one I just didn't like the lighting, or I felt it wasn't very interesting, and I just wasn't feeling very inspired. So I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing this to please anybody but myself, so I figured I'm just gonna wait until it feels right to do it, and now feels like the time. I haven't had a lot of time to do knitting. I have been working full-time over the summer, and I just found that when I came home in the evenings, I just kind of wanted to be a potato, and even just focusing on knitting was a bit too much at the time. So I do have a few things done, but not that much. I do have a whip that got damaged, so I have that to share as well. But yeah, I've got a few treats. I think though that with the fall coming, and I'll be starting school soon and my schedule will be a little more open. I'm sure I'll definitely be very busy. I'm starting a pharmacy technician program, but I do have some more holes in my schedule than I would just working a 9-to-5 job. So I think I'm going to be able to get more knitting done in the fall, so we'll stay tuned for that. One thing that did happen in the period between now and the last video is I did get COVID, which was not fun. If you haven't gotten it yet, keep avoiding it, take care of yourself, and if you have gotten it, then you know what I'm talking about. I was lucky to have a pretty mild case, but it still knocked me off my feet for a couple days, and I felt it a lot in my sinuses, as well as my ears. It was a lot of pressure in my head, basically, and I found it was really difficult to sleep. I was sneezing a lot. I feel like I realigned my spine when I was sneezing so hard. So yeah, it's still out there. Take care of yourselves and be well. For those of you that are new viewers, this is Milo. He's one of 2 brother cats that we have. Trill is the other. He might make an appearance, but Milo loves the camera, so he's probably going to stick around for the video. He's 12 years old, and he was a feral kitten that we took in our suburb neighborhood in 2010, and he's just grown into the most lovely, delightful cat ever. So this is my co-star. For today's video, I'm going to start off with the finished objects that I've made since I was last on YouTube. The first was a gift hat that I made for my friend for her birthday, and I took a little video of it before giving it to her the day of her party, so I'm going to insert that here. Hey y'all, it's Grace from a different day. I'm going to a party later this evening, and that's why I look a little nicer than normal. I thought it would be a really good time to film a vlog, but I don't have time. So instead, I'm just going to do this little cutscene to show off this FO, which I am going to be gifting to someone at said party happening tonight. And it's pretty cute. So, oh my gosh, it looks so cute on the camera. So this is a froggy bucket hat. I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but this is a gift from my friend Natasha. She picked out the yarn when we went to a yarn store together several months ago. It is Malabrigo Rios, and the colorway is called Arakita. I shall put it here if you'd like to look it up yourself. I used 1 full skein of the Arakita to make this, and including the eyes and the hat, and I had maybe about a meter left over, so it was a little bit tense, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. The eyes are done with needle felting, and I just stitched on some little blush, like anime blush. There was just a acrylic yarn that I had just to give it a little cutesy look. I'm very happy with it. I think it looks very sweet, and the colorway is so beautiful and complex. There's so much there. So Natasha specifically wanted a froggy bucket hat, and I am incredibly pleased with how this turned out. I spent quite a while delaying making it because I was worried it wouldn't turn out quite right. And I made one version, like a prototype, didn't quite like how it turned out, and ended up with this one. This is based off of a pattern available on Ravelry. It's a simple bucket hat pattern. I shall put here as well as in the description link below. I used it more for dimensions than anything else. I modified the pattern quite a bit. I think I made the crown a little bit larger. I did a different stitch on the sides, and I made the sides longer than the pattern recommended. And I also did the brim differently. I made the brim bigger. So it's not really that pattern. I use it as a base. I would like to go back at some point and try to write up what I did just so I can recreate it, because I think it makes for an excellent base pattern to play around with. But that's so cute. I am so excited to give this to her. It's been months in the making. She's wanted it for a very long time, and I think I crushed it. So yeah. I'm honestly very proud of how that froggy hat turned out. It was really cute. The other finished object I have that I finished also in July is another hat. It's been a hat time of year. And it's this lovely number. You may recognize this yarn from my last video. This is the Gumball Purple Worsted that I picked up from Stitch Noir. Amanda is a friend of mine that I made through an online knitting group. And I wasn't planning on buying any worsted yarn at the festival, but I just saw this color and I could see the ribbed hat in my mind's eye with all the speckles. And I was like, oh, I need it. So very happy with this. I didn't follow a pattern. I just did my favorite cast on, 120 stitches, 3.25 millimeter needles, and basically just calculated how much yarn I would need to do the crown and tried to use up the entirety of the skein. So it's still plenty warm for this hat. It's quite dense, like the 3.25 makes for a sturdy fabric. It does sit up pretty well. But I'm looking forward to wearing this in the summertime as school starts for a nice little pop of color. And it's lovely and soft. I highly recommend Amanda's yarn, Stitch Noir. She puts a lot of care, and it's really an artistic outlet for her. No two skeins are ever going to be the same. She follows a very intuitive process and very based off of daily inspiration and just what she wants to create. So lots of fun, very unique, excellent for a hat like this. My final finished object is one that I finished just this last week, and I feel like it represents just how little knitting time that I've had. So I started this like 4 weeks ago and just finished it. And it's this little bandana here, as of yet unblocked. That's how freshly finished it is. I'm planning on giving it a good firm blocking, but it's this gorgeous little neckerchief. Gonna wear it tied up like this. I think I'd like to wear it as a bandana. I've seen people wearing it as a necktie. I'm very excited about the possibilities of this. This yarn was gifted to me by Skeins of Dreams Mega in early 2021. She just sent me a lovely little care package of yarn that she wanted to de-stash. It's a lovely soft purple with flecks of yellow and orange and hot pink and some navy blue. It was a lot of fun to work with. The pattern is called the Knitting Badge Neckerchief, and I'm blanking on the name of the designer, but I will of course put it right over here, and everything will be linked pattern wise in the description bar. So I'm blanking on their name right now, but they have a very interesting channel. I know the designer did a Love Magic dress and a Bubs bonnet, all in a natural brown wool, and just took these excellent photos of woolly witchy midsummer goodness. I highly recommend if you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a knitting slump. This is a great pattern. It's just garter stitch and a drop stitch detail, which was a lot of fun to do. And while it did take me a month to do just this much knitting, every time I picked it up I had a lot of fun, very easy to memorize, and I think it'll be a really good use of just fingering scraps that are left over. I think doing this in even just stripes of leftovers would be really nice, and it's a pattern that you could just keep going and going as well. You can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. So I'm a big big fan of this pattern. Next, I am going to talk about my current works in progress or WIPs. I'm going to start with my oldest and go to my most recent. They're all in various states of languishing, but I will show you what progress I have made. First up is this pair of socks, which if you've seen my previous videos, you've seen several appearances of it already. This pattern, I used the 6-stitch cable from Socks on a Plane, but otherwise just a vanilla sock pattern that I like to use with a slip stitch heel tab, which is my heel flap rather, which is my favorite heel flap to use. And I'm doing it on 2.5 millimeters. I'm doing it magic loop style, and this is Lion brand Sock Ease, and the color is called Lemon Drop. I really like this colorway a lot, but I just haven't barely worked on this sock. I'm pretty sure I started this one in February, if memory serves, and this is still just sock number 1. So I'm taking my sweet time with this sock. It's getting to the point where I'm starting to think about casting on other socks, but I feel like I need to just have one type of each WIP at a time, preferably, because if I start another sock, this sock's never getting done. So it's not that I don't like the pattern or anything, and I know I'm gonna really love wearing these. It's just I keep not finding time to knit. It's been a real struggle. The mojo is lacking. So WIP number 1, my old pair of socks, my old single sock. My next WIP, which I have been trying to put genuine effort into working on, is my sheer V sweater, which is a Jessie May pattern. I cast this one on in early April. I think I originally was wanting to have it done for Easter weekend to wear then, and I am about halfway done the first sleeve. So I think I'll do a try-on test just to see how much further I really need to go on the sleeves. There's going to be a good amount of ribbing on the end, as well as I'm going to stretch this sleeve out quite a bit. I actually ended up picking up about 20 less stitches than called for the arm, so by the time I realized that, I had gone too far and I refused to frog it. So I'm committing to knitting the whole sleeve, and I'm just going to solidly block it. I think it'll be fine. Knitting is forgiving, one hopes. I am really enjoying this pattern though. It's just been taking me a while to get through it because when the summer heat came, I just didn't want to touch it. It was too warm. The yarn for this is Knit Picks Palette in the color Hyacinth, as well as Knit Picks Aloft in the color Penny Royal. And I was inspired to make this combination by Park and Knit, who made her Daily Ritual Raglan in this exact yarn combination. And I just thought it makes for such a beautiful blend of wool. So stay tuned for more on this. Now that the cooler weather is gradually starting to come in, for example, it was like 13 degrees Celsius this morning. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, I'm sorry. But some leaves are starting to change, a couple have been falling, and you have that crispness in the early morning, and I do really like the fall. So it's that summer starting to fade time of year, and it's making me feel more excited about sweaters. So I think, one hopes, maybe by the next time I film a vlog, maybe this one will be done and I can be wearing it in the vlog, but we'll see. So more on that one later. The final WIP that I am going to share with you is a bit of a tragedy. Brace yourselves. This is my summertime diaphanous raglan. This is also a Jessie May pattern, and I just befell calamity in the process. So as you can see from my delightful, hilarious bag from the Knitting Goddess, who's from the UK, it's a zipper bag, and sometimes yarn gets caught in zippers. And I knew this going in, but I didn't think about it. Didn't think about it at all. So here I have the sleeve cap. Just give me one moment to get it untangled. This project hasn't seen the light of day in about a month. So I have my sleeve cap here, and I was thrilled with how it was coming along. I'll tell you about the yarns in a moment. I just need to get through my very sad story. So I was making excellent progress on my sleeve cap here. I'm like, okay, the fabric is so soft, it's knitting so nicely. It's going to be a short ruffle sleeve, negative ease, cropped diaphanous raglan, nice v-neck, perfect. I think it was going to be wonderful for summer. But I got the yarn, which is a tencel yarn. It's very silky, caught in the zipper, and I'm not sure how well it'll show up on camera, but I got this big long pull in the stitches. And because it's such a silky yarn, as soon as it pulled on one part, it pulled the entire row tight, if you can see that welt that formed right there. So I tried to like redistribute the torn length, and it's just too awkward. So I'm gonna have to rip back about 1.5 inches. And with black yarn, I just really couldn't be bothered. My knitting mojo was already so low. This was the project that was inspiring me to knit. And just once that happened, I was like, never mind, I can't do this. I need easy projects. That's when I turned to the Knitting Badge Neckerchief, which was a good palette cleanser. So I do really want to get this knit done, but like I just said, the summer is dying. I don't really feel as inspired to work on a summer project right now, so I think this one is going to be going into hibernation for a while. I do finally feel like I'm mentally prepared to go back and do a pickup, frog, rip out, start again. I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to doing that, but at first I was thinking I'm just going to rip this whole thing out because I don't want to have to deal with fiddly picking up stitches. Oh, did I miss one? So I just left it for a while, but now I'm like, no, okay, I can salvage what I started with and go from there. And once I get going on it again, I'm sure it's going to fly off the needles because it's very fun, the diaphanous raglan. But I think it might, I don't know, it might end up being January till I pick it up again, wanting to prepare for the spring and summer at that time. So a big stay tuned for my summer diaphanous raglan, sadly. The yarn which I'm using, which I highly recommend as a combination, just give me one moment here, this is the tencel yarn that I picked up from the Kawartha Yarn and Fiber Festival from Ethos Makes. It was very, very well priced for the skein. I think it was $12 or $14, and you get almost 1,000 yards. So definitely enough to make a sweater just from the one skein. And it's very soft, and tencel is made from protein fibers from trees, birch trees, interestingly enough. So it is a vegan yarn as well. And the yarn that I'm holding with it is Camarose Pima Bolt. And this is 100%, let me just confirm that, Pima cotton, 100% cotton. And this is very soft. Shockingly so. There's no roughness to it whatsoever. I definitely do want to make more projects out of this. I'm going to see how the yarn holds up when I do knit this project, but I think this honestly could be a summer yarn that I will go back to over and over again. They have a pretty good selection of different colorways, and it's just honestly a pleasure. It's very fine yarn, but in the summertime, that's kind of what you're looking for, right? So the two of these together, it's soft, it's silky, it's a beautiful black, like pure black. And I think it'll be such a nice project when I finally get it done, but it's just not the diaphanous time. I probably should avoid in the future having the tencel anywhere near zippers. It is a thing I worry about a little bit with, okay, am I going to knit this wonderful shirt and I'm going to snag it on something and have the exact same problem with my finished object. So that's a bit of a concern as well, but it might just mean that I need to be a little more careful with what, I'm not going for a walk in the forest where I could get snagged on something. So we'll see how that all goes, but it might be a very delicate diaphanous in the end. So I got to find a different project that can handle being near a zipper. This one, also in a zipper bag, no problems, it's fine. But just that tencel, it's just too slippery, it's too silky. So I'm gonna have to get a drawstring pouch when I finally decide to pick that one up again. So, as you can see, realistically, I have plenty of knitting to keep me busy. However, none of the whips are very inspiring to me right now. Like, I want to do the sweater, for example, because it'll be sweater weather soon, but I'm on Sleeve Island. And those socks are gonna be lovely, but it's just not always what I'm in the mood to knit. So odds are looking good that I'm gonna have a new cast on relatively soon. And I have two options that I think are the highest contenders. I could always surprise you, but I have two options that I'm going to talk about here, and maybe you can leave a comment below about which one you think that I should do for a fall knitting project, as I'm getting excited for one of my favorite times of year. So the first yarn that I have for a potential project is this worsted skein of Spite from Feisty Fibers. I showed this in, I think it was the March video that I posted about my quarterly yarn haul, and this yarn I've wanted for a very long time. It's a beautiful combination of steely gray and rusty oranges, a little bit of yellow and white in there, and it really makes me just think of old iron and rust showing up. So I feel like that's a nice dark autumnal color, and I really want to make an 1898 hat for myself using this yarn. The 1898 hat, I made one for my dad for Christmas last year. It definitely is a winter hat. It's a double layered ear flap hat, but it's just so fun to knit, and this is a very autumnal color to me that I think it would be a fun, easy project to just pick up and enjoy the process of knitting again. I know I really like that pattern, so this one's definitely a contender for another simple project that I know I'm gonna love. Option number 2 is a pattern that will be new to me, the BOJAGI SHAWL by KNITBOOP. I don't know why I always say SHAWL. SHAWL. The only shawl I've really knit is that little neckerchief, so it would be a first shawl project for me, which is a very fall project, I think. So these are the yarns here. I have also shown these before on the channel. This is a skein from Sweet Georgia Fibers sock yarn, and the color is called Fauna. And this is the lovely Knitting for Olive Merino in the colorway Claret. So these two together are an excellent match for the darker red tones. And the BOJAGI shawl is a combination of garter, it's an asymmetrical triangle, it has a lace section as well as a mosaic. So I was thinking I would use this for the lace section to be a very dark, bold lace, and then this for the garter section, and the two of them obviously together for the mosaic, and I think they would blend just beautifully. So it's a project that I've eyed for a while. I think it'll be a mixture of entertaining and new techniques, as well as an approachable shawl project for a beginner to the type of project. And I also think it would be a pretty wearable shawl as well, that I can enjoy through the fall season as I'm going to classes. So these are option 1 and option 2. Do I go with my rusty hat or my coppery shawl? Let me know what you think, and perhaps in the next video I will have casted one on, or maybe just a completely different out of left field project, because I have the yarn for many projects. So yeah, let me know what you think, or if there's a project that you really associate with the fall, or you're really looking forward to knitting in the fall. I would love to hear about it. I personally, spring is my favorite time of year because you just can't beat the feeling of life coming back after the dark, sad winter. But I find fall is a very fun and exciting time of year, so I'm really looking to get into the spirit of it all this year. And you know, I'm already thinking about apple picking and pumpkin patches and going to animal farms for petting zoos and stuff. So yeah, anything that you enjoy about the fall period, let me know. Tell me all about it. I can't believe I almost forgot to share this. So in July, when I got COVID, to make myself feel better, I decided to do a little yarn shopping. It did make me feel better, and I took a unboxing video of the yarn when it arrived. So I am going to insert this here for you to enjoy to close things out. It's a yarn unboxing cutscene. Come here. Come here. That was beautifully timed, my love. So yeah, I just got some new yarn, came in today. I ordered it as a treat yourself for getting COVID. Felt like it would make me feel better. And you know what? I do feel better. So, with the help of our friend Trill here, let's see what I got. I ordered from the Knitting Loft, which is a yarn store in Toronto that I adore. They've got a really great selection there, and it's a mother-daughter owned business. Classic black. More classic black. This is excellent. What a beautiful combination of yarn and two cats. All right, let's do this. So, this is gonna be distracting. So, I got Pima Bold by Kama Rose in this black color. I think it's just called black. Let's see here. Sort. I haven't used this yarn before. It is 100% cotton and it's quite soft. It's Pima cotton, and I'm planning on pairing this with the tencel I got in my last video to make a summer short ruffle sleeved diaphanous raglan. I think this is gonna be really nice. This is a good base. I think I'm gonna be casting on with this tonight or tomorrow. It's gonna be my next cast on. And then, Trill is being so quiet. I got this skein from Leo and Roxy. This is a mohair. Let's see what combination. 75-25, 100% good vibes. Love that. 50 grams, 420 yards. And this colorway is a Knitting Loft special called Jenny. And the other skein that I got, oh, it's so soft, is also Jenny in merino cashmere silk, I believe. Yes, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% silk, 100% good vibes. I think Trill's leaving. Oh, that's so nice. This color seems like a soft gray. A soft gray on the site. And I'd say that holds up. It's kind of a light tan with a bit of a green undertone, green-gray. It's very nice. It's like a pale neutral color. My plan for these skeins is, I'm forgetting the name of the color, but I just heard about this pattern this week, and I believe these held together should be enough to make it. And it's this beautiful turtleneck brioche wheat design of a collar, and I've never wanted to make a collar before, but I saw the texture on it and it's just so different from anything else that I've made before, and I could really imagine myself rocking it in the fall and winter. So that's kind of a new to me project that I'm gonna give a try. A completely new style, a completely new type of pattern, and a new designer as well. So I haven't bought the pattern yet, but that one's very high on my make list just because I've been feeling like I need to make something new and different, like kind of push my skills a little bit, like learn a new stitch and try a new construction. That's what I've been really craving lately. So that's pretty high on the list, but it's summertime, so the diaphanous raglan is I think taking precedent. But this is great. I had both my cats come hang out and unpackage this yarn. Everything is wonderful. I love the Knitting Loft and I love yarn. I just feel better already. Fully healed. COVID gone. And with that, we have finished episode 9 of Sometimes I Make Things. Thank you for watching this far. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think in the comment below. And yeah, it's nice to come back and do a video. It felt kind of sad to not do one for almost 2 whole months. And I'm hoping to be back again in September with doing monthly updates to tell you a little bit more about what I've been up to. Until then, take care. Bye, friends.